right. Let's start out by saying Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rachak Wadash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison. And this is based off of a video that Elder Apostle Tahar put on one of my videos, a link to another video that I was watching earlier, which I actually have queued up, but what I'm showing you real quick is this is going back to World War II, when they had internment camps where they interned the so-called Japanese, the Ammonites, for I believe it was a period of like 2 years or something like that during the time of World War II. And this happened back then, and it's definitely going to happen again, because it's prophesied to happen to the people of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, which are the so-called Negros, Latinos, Native American Indians, which are the Israelites that the Bible speaks of. I actually put the link to the video in the description box. So brothers, I suggest you go watch it, because I'm not going to play it. I'm not sure if they'll strike, my channel. But I will go to certain key points of the video and read some of the information that is contained within this book that was written back in 2010, I believe it was, which goes back further than that, but that's when they had put it together. It was almost a 400-page booklet on how to operate with the internment of the American public, and they've been planning this for a very long time, and I'm gonna read this scripture that has a part of the title in it. Revelation 2:10, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison. This is not talking about the actual spiritual demon Satan. This is talking about the physical counterpart of the spiritual demon Satan, which is Esau, the so-called white man. In these times, beginning with the Amalekites, the chief house of Satan. It says, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that you may be tried. And this is a trial. And, it's not going to be pretty, but once again, as we say all the time, is the elect will have that ingredient, that special ingredient inside that will have them make the right decisions to get out of every situation that the Lord set up. And the ones that are to glorify the Lord by death, that's prophecy also. But for the most part, the elect are going to be straight. They're not going to take the mark of the beast. No matter what happens, they're not going to bend to the will of Esau, because the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai said, if it were possible, they deceive the very elect, but they won't be able to deceive the very elect. So reading this again, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that you may be tried, and you shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. So basically, it would be a period of time. It doesn't necessarily have to be 10 days. But it's going to be a certain period of time where certain of the men of the Lord will be tried. And the way things are being set up now, and the way this modern age is, pretty much they have everything, people in big major cities, and the people in the major cities for the most part are the ones that are going to be hauled off in these different, whether it's buses or tractor trailers or whatever other facilities that they have to ship out big concentrations of people, to be put into these internment camps. You have executive orders, one of them being to be able to gather pretty much the American public under and for the through the government in work brigades, as well as being able to confiscate everything that people own, from their cars to their homes to their appliances or whatever it is that they need. They plan on taking away. All right. The elder Menatezakba put devils, diabolos, metaphoric, apply to a man beautiful. To apply to a man who, by opposing the cause of the Most High, may be said to act the part of the devil or to side with him. Beautiful. That's right. And that's exactly what it's speaking about. It's not speaking about the spiritual entity known as Satan or the devil. It's talking about an actual peoples on the planet Earth that are a representation, a physical representation of the wicked, which makes them the wicked. And we identify that in the Bible as the Edomites. All right, so now the video that Elder Pastor put up, the link to on one of my videos, is Mirror Leaked Military Internment Camps in U.S. to be used by the United Nations. Now remember, we've done videos on this before, and the latest one I remember is Elder Apostle Gabar going into Linda Thompson and how she was going around filming these different internment camps that they had set up for the American population. But we believe they killed her. Believe they killed her for leaking that information out, because that goes back to the 90s, if I'm not mistaken, that she was bringing that information out. I'm not sure if it was the mid to late 90s or exactly what date it was, because it's been a while since I actually watched that video. But this is an actual booklet, and you can see here FM 339.40, Headquarters, Department of the Army, Washington, D.C., 12 February 2010. All right, it says internment and resettlement operations, and then it gives you the contents. Now, when you watch this, the individual that's reading it, he breaks it down, does a very good job. He's very eloquent, speaking, and he breaks it down well, to where you could understand what the language of the document is saying. So now when we get here to around a 2-minute, 15-second or so, maybe a little before, it speaks about something called support to civil support operations. Now, in order for you to really get the full understanding of this, like I said, you have to watch the video, because the individual that reads this information, he breaks it down in layman's terms, and he does a good job, at it. So when you get a chance, after the video, you can watch this and get more detail or more information on it. But it says here, support to civil support operations. This is it says the IR, which is internment relocation. So the IR means those that are going to be interned and relocated, because remember, I forget what executive order it is. I'm not sure if it's 11,000. It says you could separate the American people, take them and set them up in work brigades, for the government. So it says the IR, or internment relocation tasks performed in support of civil support operations are similar to those during combat operations, because pretty much the American people have been labeled enemies of the state. So pretty much the American government, which is owned by the international bankers, has waged war against the American people. That's why they label people as dissidents or enemy combatants. And there's another term in this lesson too. Salakia. So it goes on to say, but the techniques and procedures are modified based on the special OE associated with operating within U.S. territory and according to the categories of individuals, primarily DCs, which are the military that they're going to set up to do this. It says to be housed in internment relocation facilities during long-term internment relocation operations. State and federal agencies will operate within and around internment relocation facilities within the scope of their capabilities and identified role. And you notice that this guy Trump, what he did was when he called for that national emergency, he pretty much gave power over to FEMA. You know, so right now, I mean, unless they reversed it already, but as of now, unless there was a reversal, there's FEMA is pretty much in control of the so-called United States government, because there are different when they declare a national emergency, the national emergency could be set up as much as 6 months, and in some cases they'll say as long as the emergency persists. All right. It says military police commanders and closely coordinate and synchronize their efforts with them, especially in case where civil authority and capabilities have broken down or been destroyed. And now you notice that they're bringing in the military. Trump is talking about bringing in the military to disperse those the vaccines, and the police departments have been being defunded. You know, so it's saying that once civil authority capabilities are broken down, which they're being broken down now, and that's why they have so much tension between the people and the police today, to where people are starting to kill police and fight against the police because they want that chaos to justify bringing in the military so they can bring in what's known as martial law. And we've been telling you people out there for the longest that this is coming. Martial law is coming. You know, were we ridiculed for this. You know, I remember Nate and them, they ridiculed the hell out. I mean, they laughed us to scorn back then when we brought this up. Now their voices are very small on it. And I've yet to see any of them bring out and talk about these things that are coming. You know, as soon as they start talking about martial law and concentration camps, you know, that's the epitome of their hypocrisy, because every time they speak against something, eventually in process of time, they start teaching what they spoke against. Like the Cornelius issue. Cornelius was an Edomite back then. We got kicked out for that. Eventually, 10, 15 years down the road, now they're teaching that Cornelius is an Israelite. You know, we've been teaching about concentration camps and martial law and things of that nature. And if they start teaching it, that's part of the epitome of the hypocrisy. You know, and now the mark of the beast is being more and more evident every day. And their voice is very small concerning the mark of the beast. Every once in a while you hear a little something here and there, but for the most part, they're very quiet on that topic. Now, let's jump from there to 315. This is agencies concerned with internment and resettlement. All right, now I'm trying to remember what point. Was it something that he was reading here? Oh, yes. It says, these are the people that are involved in establishing this document, this book. You know, these internment relocations. It says, I believe that's 140, external involvement in internment relocations missions is a fact of life for military, police organizations, some government and government-sponsored entities that may be involved in internment relocation missions include international agencies, which is you could add Interpol there, which is the international police. You have the UN, which the UN is where? On American soils. And does not the UN have a military? So they can use those UN soldiers or those UN troops to enforce these laws during the time of these emergencies. International Committee Committee of the Red Cross, International Organization of Migration. You know, you have ICE and all that. They can be set up to enforce these things, because what are they doing now to Issachar and NAPHTALI and Asher and different of the tribes coming up through Mexico? They have something called ICE, or you have the different federal agencies that are grabbing them up. You know, you have the different agencies in America that are grabbing them up, you know, so they can be set up to enforce these things when they start happening, when all hell breaks loose, and they'll go around rounding people up and bringing them to these different internment stations, different internment centers. And there's no coincidence that all of those military bases were being, a lot of them were being closed down, but never destroyed, because those are going to be waiting there to house these people, you know, while they go through the process of vaccination, while they go through the process of being implanted with the microchip, until they've been certified by the government that they are not a threat and that they're ready to be set off into society, because they will be good, obedient little slaves. This is 2 Ezra 16 and 67. Behold, the Most High himself is the judge. Fear him, leave off from your sins, and forget your iniquities, to meddle no more with them forever. So shall the Most High lead you forth and deliver you from all trouble. And this is what we're looking to be delivered from. All of this trouble and chaos that's coming, that the prophets seen in their visions, you know, and that the prophets prophesied. And when they saw these things, they were nervous. They got scared, because they saw the impending dangers and the devastation that was coming, and they were hoping to be delivered from those, you know. And one of the keys in this is the name of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, the faith, you know, and the works. They all work in conjunction with one another. It says, for behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you. So this is something that's already set in motion. This burning wrath of a great multitude was already set in motion by Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And we're seeing it steaming up. We're seeing the fire kindle. We're seeing the flames of fire being fanned by these different legislation and different situations that are happening throughout the world and in America. It says, for behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they shall take away certain of you and feed you, being what? Being idle, with things offered unto idols. So being idle means what? Meaning stationary, not being able to move about. And that's what these internment camps are all about. And this is what we're reading about here in this documentation. And these agencies like the UN, the international agencies, you know, the International Organization of Migration, you know, U.S. agencies, a local U.S. Embassy, Department of Homeland Security, U.S. Immigration of Customs Enforcement, ICE, told you, ICE, Federal Emergency Management Agency, which is what? FEMA. And remember, Trump already gave them that power. Unless he revoked it, which I don't know if he did or not. But as far as I'm concerned, as far as I know, as far as I remember, FEMA right now is the government. You see? So let's see what else was on here. Report reported by theater detainee. Accountability including reported into ICRC Central Tracing Agency. Yeah, I mean, there's going to be all... Listen, these devils are planning a takeover of the world. So they're not pulling any punches. You know, the Lord said, let's go real quick to the book of Psalm 17. They're not pulling any punches. So they got every available agency, every available agent, whether they're military, police, private, you know, public, they got them all. and they got them all set and ready to roll. They're ready to rock and roll. They cock, locked, and ready to rock. You know, they're ready to do their thing, man. And then they're going to have the fury of the Lord upon them. That's why we read in 2 Ezra 16 that, behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, because these agencies, these military/police forces are coming down with the fury of the Lord, you know, mainly upon Jake, but also upon whoever the Lord is going to bring judgment upon through these agencies. This is Psalms chapter 17 and verse 13. It says, arise, O Lord, disappoint him. Why? Because they're coming fierce. They're coming strong. Who shall rise up against Edom? Who shall rise up against that strong city? Shall not the Lord that didn't go out with our armies? So the Lord is going to disappoint him. Cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked. Who is the wicked? The Edomites, which is thy sword, and they are the sword of the Lord. And that's why the Lord gave them the ability or the blessing of the sword, you know, to perfect it, to bring this place down, to put hell on this place. Because those are for amendments. These are the lashes of the Lord, you know, hitting this hole with those lashes. And anybody that's involved or down with the program. It says, from men which are thy hand, O Lord, from men of the world which have their portion in this life. And that's why they're fighting so valiantly to keep it. And that's why they're fighting so hard to establish this new world order, so that they can finally have everyone and everything where they want it. But the Lord is going to disappoint them. And whose belly thou fillest with thy hid treasure, they are full of children, and leave the rest of their substance to their babes. Yeah, and it seemed at one point that these devils were never going down. You know, they just kept prospering and prospering and prospering. That's why Asaph said, you know, that he was jealous, you know, somewhat, you know, over the prosperity of the wicked, in so many words. It says, as for me, I will behold thy face in righteousness. I shall be satisfied when I awake with thy likeness. So going back, now let's move on to the next point, which was around the 750 mark, which just ties in to the mark of the beast, even though they don't mention the chip. It says internment serial numbers. All right, so now it says the ISN, or the internment serial numbers, in the DOD mandated identification number used to account for and or track detainees. All right, so now let me see. It was something else that I believe that he went into. No. Okay, now that goes into something else. All right, so let's read on. It says, once an ISN is assigned, it is used on all documentation, including medical records. The ISN, or internment serial numbers, is generated by the detainee reporting system. The detainee reporting system is the only approved system for maintaining detainee accountability. And these numbers are going to be doing for what? For tracking each individual. Now, those numbers can easily be transferred into the microchips, because remember, the last part of the root word for charagma down to charax is what? Grapho. And the word grapho or graph means to write or to record. And that's what they want to do. They want to keep everyone's records separate, and each chip to be for a specific individual, you know, so that they can know the amount of slaves that they have. They can know what each slave is bringing in, just like they did during slavery when everybody brought their bale of cotton. You know, every individual was known how much each slave could pick. You see? It's all about control. It is the central data point system used for reporting to the national level and sharing detainees' information with other authorized agencies. ISNs are normally issued within 14 days of capture. Of what? Of capture. Which is letting you know that society is going to break down and they're going to go around capturing people. That's why they said in the beginning, he mentions how, matter of fact, in the beginning of this documentation, he mentions how let me see if I could find it. Right here at the end, when you look at the table of contents and all that, it says destruction. Notice, destroy by any method that will prevent disclosure of contents or reconstruction of the document. So pretty much they didn't want this information leaking out, but it did. Their tongue shall fall upon themselves. So it says ISN, or internment serial numbers, are normally issued within 14 days of capture. So within a 2-week period of those that got captured, these numbers will be given to each individual. It says regardless of where detainees are held, or according to applicable policy, the ISN is comprised of the capturing power, a 2-digit alpha character code representing the capturing power. Only country codes found in the Defense Intelligence Agency manual are used. Theater code, power served. So, it goes into, into detail, right? Let me just put this on mute. And they give you an example of the numbers that they're going to be issuing to the individuals. Now, the last part of this, let's go to the 8-minute and 23-second mark, is that all of these things that are being set up, there's one section that calls for deadly force. In case someone tries to escape or whatever the case is, it calls for deadly force. Let me see right here. Level 5, deadly force, used as a last resort when all lesser means have failed or would be impractical, used to prevent death or serious injury to self or others, to prevent the theft, damage, or destruction of resources vital to the national security or dangerous to others, or to terminate an active escape attempt. So this is why the scriptures speak about, let's go real quick to Jeremiah chapter 30. And see, when we know about this insider information, it also gives us a broader sight as to what's going to happen. Like, we already know based off of the scriptures, but then this information that's coming out is given a more detailed plan of how they plan on doing it. Jeremiah 30 and 7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. See, it is even a time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Why? Because you have the elect that will be saved out of the destruction that's coming. Because we just read in 2nd Ezra 16 that the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and that they shall feed you being idle with things offered unto idols. And they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and in reproach and trodden under foot. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. So now we're getting a broader understanding of what's going on and what these devils are planning to do. And this is going to be worldwide, but we deal with the U.S. because this is where we live, and that's why. But this is you could apply this to each continent or each country, so on and so forth. It says, for there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. So they're going to be like madmen, sparing none. They're going to have the fury of the Lord inside of them, because this is the Lord's vengeance, especially upon you Israelites. It says, yep, that's right. Brother said that we on the red list. Yep, definitely on that red list. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Because remember, they have executive orders. When you go back and you look at those executive orders, where they can take any form of communication, any form of transportation, any form of food or water, and they could even take the individual Americans and put them into work brigades through the government, through executive orders. And then it says, then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire. Hear, O ye my beloved, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. Now, before I read this other precept, let me get real quick a precept that we know very well in the book of Daniel 12 and 10. I'm sorry, 12 and 4. I'm sorry, 12 and 1. I'm tripping. And at that time shall Michael stand up. So when Yahushua comes, he's bringing Michael and the other angels. And it's going to be that war in heaven to deliver the elect of the nation of Israel. The great prince which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as was ever since there was a nation even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered. That's why Yahushua said, he that endureth unto the end, the same shall be saved. Every one that shall be found written in the book, meaning the ones that are part of the elect. So Revelation 3:10, because thou hast kept the word of my patience. That's why, we hold on and pray to Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua to increase our faith, increase our strength in his truth. Because he said, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of